Okay, this is video number 4. I'm not really going to be adding anything to the schematic in this shorter video. What I want to do is start on, kind of take a look at the layout and how that's going to look. And we can start on that. I'm not going to really do a lot with it, but it can show me where some of the issues may be later. Also, when we left off last time, I've still got all these little arrows up here. You know, I can bring back up this window that lists all of these error pin not connected stuff, and I can say delete markers. And let's try this again. Run DRC, and then I can say delete markers. Delete all markers. There we go. And that just clears up the schematic a little bit. Now, there's a lot to be done yet, but I want to come up here and I want to click the PC board design. And it's got way bigger than I wanted. Let's see if I can make this a little smaller. Okay, so here's the PC board layout thing. There is nothing on it at this point. Blank screen. Okay, so what I want to do is we have this up here is update layout, update PC board from schematic. And I'm going to click that. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to add all the stuff. And it warns me that cannot add D2 no footprint assigned. Oh, that's that LED. Okay, let's just do this first. And then you can see the stuff that appeared up the upper left. And then I'm going to close this for the moment. And I'm just going to dump this here in the middle of the board. And here is the packages for everything I've put in there. And this all looks about the right size. I mean, this is the stuff that I expect it to be. You know, if I get the wrong package, sometimes you'll see that one of these other things is incorrect. So, I mean, that's a good place to, let me go back to the schematic and get that other package thing. So if I come up here and click the schematic, D2, which is the LED, we didn't assign a package to that. Let me go back. No, I don't want rules checker. I want package. Assign footprints, LED. And the LED is going to be LED surface mount. And the ones I have, we're going to do LED SMD, then it's colon LED underscore 0805. That's the size that we have. And 2012 metric. And I'm just going to do that one. Okay, let's say okay. So now that's assigned. I can save it. We'll go back to the layout, and then I can say update the layout with this, and now it's got zeros, added D2 footprint. Okay, so we can say update and close. And there's the last LED. Where everything is on here doesn't really affect us at all. We can when I click on the layout thing, I can see that there are 78 unrouted, stuff like that. When I start on a board layout, I like to kind of have things set up on a nice grid. And to do that, you know, when I draw the board outlines and stuff like that, we've got this grid here. And I want to be on 1/10 inch centers, not really metric. Oh, I'm over in here. So I'm going to go back up to inches here. And then I'm going to go back over here. And what I want to do is I'm going to make it really quite large, a 1/10 inch center grid thing. So when you zoom in, you'll notice that this thing is jumping 1/10 of an inch at a time. And I can't draw the entire board outline because I have no idea what the rest of the parts are going to be. But I can draw part of it so I can just get an idea how things will lay out. And by setting the grid really large, it makes it really easy to close stuff. And the outline of the board is actually the edge cuts layer. So if I just click in here to go to edge cuts, and I can do a line, and you can see that some of these dots are a little highlighted. And I've also got an XY grid thing. So this is at the 1 inch layer. So I'm just going to draw something here, and I'm going to make it an entire 2 inches long. Okay, so there's a 2 inch trace, or a board outline there. Let me do a a vertical on this also. And one of the things, I'm going to try to keep everything pretty much in like 2 square inches, maybe a smidge more than that. So everything would have to fit inside of this if that were to be closed off. And that just kind of gives me a frame of reference. Nothing is really fixed. And then, you know, sometimes what I like to do is I like to have the corners of the board curved. It makes them look a little more, you know, they just don't have that sharp corner. And we can do that too. What I can do is, let me just delete this trace back off and let me redraw it. I'm back in edge cuts, I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to, instead of starting right there at that point, I'm going to start one up and go one below where I think I need to go. Okay, so I'm at that point. Same with this. I'm going to, I think I could do it this way. Let's just do this. Let me zoom into that. I'm going to do an arc, and I always get this backwards. But if I you start off by drawing the center point, and then one is the start, one's the end, and I don't like the way they do this. And if I do this, oh, I guessed it correct that time. So there's a nice round corner that's at a very fixed dimensions. And I can come in here, and I think will it let me delete that? No, it takes the whole thing out. But that's okay, because I know how to do it now. I can do a line, and I want line, not that, okay. And I want to come clear over, that's the 2 inches. I want to back up by 1. And the escape keys get me out. Okay, so that's kind of where, that gives me an idea how far everything will go. And I can put these arcs in the other corners too if I really want. So we're going clockwise. So if I do there, so that gives me an idea of where I could put things, you know, and so I could start moving parts around. It's not real valuable yet, but I could take the USB connector. Now, I want to put that really close, and so I'm going to have to actually set my grid differently now that I want to move parts around. So I can come up here and say I want this grid to be really, really, really tiny, and I can go to 1 mil. So now when I go to move this, you know, it's really smooth, and I can put it right where I want it. And I don't know where I want it yet. But I mean, just to get an idea of how things can actually be placed. And sometimes we will move groups of things around and stuff like that. But this lets me see that I've got the correct parts on here. And at any point, then I'm going to kind of do the schematic, the rest of the schematic, and the layout of just moving parts around kind of at the same time. Sometimes I swap what pins are connected to what to make the layout easier, so I can keep jumping back to the schematic and back and forth. So let's just want to give it a stop there. But I just wanted to show you what that would look like. So I'm going to save this for the moment. And we're going to go back and, I could do a couple of things. Let me go back to schematic for a second here. So, like on this schematic here, we've got D1's got to go right up next to the USB connector. These 4 resistors will all go there. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, and D1. So I can come back up here and, okay, where's D1? Here's D1. So I know that's going to be connected there. So let me just kind of zoom in here where we could possibly put this. And I can just drop it in here. And then 6, 7, 8, 9 on the resistors. Well, I can see them there. So let's go ahead and just move them down there. And you can see that it's got these rubber band lines on them. They're called rat's nest lines, and it tells you where they're going to connect. And so I see that they're going to connect in here somewhere. Let me just get them all over in this area. It's not their final location. And the R key to rotate again. And, you know, the labels are going to get really messy. I may actually turn those off in a bit. There's 6, 7. I need 8 and 9 to go in that area too. So Let's zoom in here. So that one needs to go in there. So let me just pack these in really close, because I know that I'm going to want them to be pretty close to each other. There's 9. Okay, let's go that way. Something like that. You know, that would be pretty close. I don't want to get too close to here, because when we build a board, these will short out frequently, and I have to clean that back off. It's really easy to do, but if these parts are really close, then it gets a little tougher. So we'll go from that. Let's see. What else do we need? I think that's probably just to give us an idea. And by doing that, all these rat's nest lines, you know, I know that that kind of lightens things up. And we'll do the same thing with the regulator, because I know that comes in next, and I know those, you know, there's just a lot of other things that go with that. Okay, let's save that. And as I said, I'm going to stop here, and I need to do a little research exactly on what I want my PC board to do, and we'll see how much of that you want to include in your design. Okie doke.